Wait, so you're saying that every time I pull out my phone to record a concert, I'm not actually enjoying the concert? That sounds extreme.
Not extreme, just accurate. When you're recording, where is your attention?
On the screen, obviously. But I'm still hearing the music.
You're hearing it through a wall. The phone becomes a barrier between you and the raw experience.
But I need to keep memories. What's wrong with wanting a record?
The question is which memory you're keeping. The one in your phone or the one in your body.
My body doesn't store video, it fades. Photos preserve exact details.
Photos preserve a thin slice, the visual surface. But the feeling, the atmosphere, the presence, that's lost. And the more you rely on the phone, the less your own memory encodes.
So you're saying the camera makes our brains weaker? That's a bold claim.
Not weaker, distracted. When you outsource memory to a device, you don't trust your own mind. Have you ever looked back at a photo from a trip and felt nothing?
Yeah, a few times.
Because you weren't fully there. You were already in the future, thinking about the photo you'd post.
Okay, but sometimes I'm present and I still want a photo. Is that so bad?
Not bad, but we need to look at the intention behind the urge. Are you taking it to see the moment more deeply, or to prove to yourself and others that it happened?
I take it because I want to remember. That's natural.
And what if the need to remember comes from a fear of forgetting, a fear of loss? That fear is what pulls you out of the moment.
So now my desire to preserve memories is rooted in fear of death. That's a leap.
Not just death, fear of losing experiences, losing identity, losing the past. The book calls this the fear of no birth, no death. We grasp at things to feel permanent.
Everyone wants to hold on to good times. That's not necessarily fear.
Grasping always has a flavor of fear. The very act of trying to freeze a moment proves you know it's slipping away. That knowing creates anxiety.
So I should just stop taking photos entirely? Live like a monk? That's unrealistic.
Not at all. You can take photos mindfully. The issue is when the camera becomes a shield.
A shield? From what?
From the intensity of the experience. If you feel a sunset fully, you also feel its passing. But if you watch it through a screen, you can pretend it will be saved forever.
But people say photos help them relive the memory later. That's valuable.
Reliving is not the same as living. And often, scrolling through photos brings a mix of nostalgia and sadness, because it reminds you that the moment is gone.
So photos can actually make us sad.
They can, especially if they remind you of what you didn't fully experience at the time.
That's a paradox.
Exactly. The more you try to possess a moment, the more it slips through your fingers.
But what about professional photographers? They capture moments and create art. Are they all avoiding reality?
The photographer's intention is different. Creation, observation, maybe even a deeper looking. The casual phone photographer often isn't looking at all, they're just storing. The photographer sees, the tourist records.
That's a bit harsh. I've taken beautiful photos that seem to capture a feeling.
Did you capture the feeling, or did you create a representation that you later interpret as the feeling? The actual feeling existed only in that present moment.
So the photo is a lie.
Not a lie, just not the experience. It's a shadow of the experience.
But we need shadows to remember the sun.
Maybe. But do you want to spend your life in the shadow or in the sun?
Okay, I'm following. Let's get practical. What should I actually do at a concert? Just stand there with my hands in my pockets?
You could let yourself be fully there. Feel the bass in your chest. See the light change. Hear the imperfections. Then if you want one photo or a 10-second video, take it as a gesture, not as a compulsion.
But then I'll forget the details.
You'll forget the details anyway. Photos don't prevent forgetting. They just give you a different version of the past.
Can you give an example?
Think of your last vacation. Do you remember the taste of the food, the smell of the air, the laughter of your friends? Or do you remember the photos you took of those things?
Honestly, I remember the photos.
And are the photos the actual memory, or a substitution?
I see your point. But isn't that just how memory works? We can't remember everything.
True. But when you are present, you encode a richer, embodied memory. The kind that lives in your body, not just in a file. When you constantly distract yourself with the phone, you encode a weaker memory, and then need the photo to fill the gap. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So the phone makes our memories worse, and then we need more photos to compensate? That's crazy.
It's a loop. The more we externalize memory to a device, the less we trust our own minds, the more we need the device.
That's like outsourcing your brain to a machine.
Exactly. And then the machine tells you what your past looked like, but not how it felt. You become a curator of your own life, rather than a participant.
But curating can be creative, like making photo albums, sharing on Instagram. That's a form of expression.
It can be. But for many, it's not expression, it's validation seeking. You post a photo to get likes, and the likes become the measure of the moment.
That's a whole other can of worms. Let's stick to the personal experience. So if I don't take photos, I'm more present, but then I have nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show to whom? That's the key question. Is the experience for you or for an audience?
Both. I want to share.
Sharing is fine, but when sharing becomes the primary reason for experiencing, you've traded being for appearing.
So now I'm a fake sharing machine? That's insulting.
Not you personally, it's the culture we're in. But you have a choice.
Okay, let's say I accept the argument. What about important events like weddings, births, once-in-a-lifetime trips? Surely those deserve documentation.
Who decides they are once in a lifetime? The mind that is afraid of never experiencing them again. But every moment is once in a lifetime. The more you try to capture the special ones, the more you signal that the ordinary ones are not worth your full presence.
That's a radical idea. So we should treat every moment as if it's fleeting.
It is fleeting. That's the teaching of impermanence. The problem isn't that life is impermanent. The problem is that we try to fight it.
But that's terrifying, to think that everything slips away.
Is it terrifying, or is it freeing? When you accept that a moment cannot be kept, you can finally be fully in it. No pressure to save it, no anxiety about losing it. You just live it.
That sounds nice in theory, but our brains are wired to want to hold on.
The brain also knows how to let go. It's just that we've trained it to grasp. The fear of loss is based on a wrong view, that we are separate from what we love.
You're getting philosophical now. Can you bring it down to earth?
Think of a wave in the ocean. The wave rises, falls, and seems to disappear. But the water is still there. The wave was never separate from the ocean. In the same way, the moment you love is not separate from you. It becomes part of your life, even if you don't have a photo.
That's beautiful, but I'm not a wave. I'm a person with a finite memory.
Your memory may be finite, but your experience is infinite in depth. When you are fully present, you don't need to remember because the experience has transformed you. You carry it in your way of being.
So the goal is to be transformed by experiences rather than to collect them.
Yes, the photo is a souvenir. The experience is the journey. You can collect souvenirs, but they won't make you a traveler.
Nice line. But I still think there's value in having a record for future generations. My kids might want to see what my life was like.
That's a valid reason. Then take photos with intention and still be present. You can be both a participant and a documentarian, but not simultaneously at full capacity.
So I have to choose? That's frustrating.
It's not all or nothing. It's about knowing your priorities in each moment. Sometimes choose presence, sometimes choose documentation. The trap is when documentation becomes the default and presence becomes the exception.
That's fair, but how do I break the habit? It feels automatic to reach for the phone.
Start by noticing the impulse. When you feel the urge to record, pause and ask yourself, what am I afraid of losing right now? Then choose whether to still take the photo or to just be there.
That's a simple practice.
Simple but not easy. It requires courage to face the fear of loss directly.
What if I try it and I still want to take 1,000,000 photos?
Then take them, but with awareness. The awareness itself is transformative. You'll find that as you become more present, the need to record diminishes.
I'm willing to try, but I'm also thinking about social pressure. If I go to a concert and don't post anything, my friends think I wasn't there or I didn't enjoy it.
That's the external validation trap. Your experience doesn't need an audience to be real. Your presence is its own proof.
But the FOMO is real. Everyone else is recording. I feel like I should too.
FOMO, fear of missing out, is actually the fear of not being included in the collective documentation. But while you're recording to prove you were there, you're missing the actual being there. It's ironic.
So FOMO is really about fear of being forgotten.
Exactly. The fear is of not existing in the social record. But you exist in the moment, and that's more real than any post.
I'm starting to see the deeper layer. It's not just about photos, it's about our need to be seen and remembered.
Yes, and that need comes from a misunderstanding of who we are. We think we are our image, our story, our achievements. But we are the awareness that experiences all of it.
That's very spiritual. Can you relate it to daily life?
When you're at a birthday party, are you there to sing the song and watch the candles? Or are you there to capture a video to show others? If you're only capturing, you're not really at the party. You're at a future moment of sharing.
Guilty. I've done that. I realized afterward I didn't actually taste the cake because I was filming everyone's reaction.
And that's the cost. You traded the experience for an artifact. The artifact might be nice later, but it can never replace the direct experience.
So the solution is to stop filming everything.
The solution is to stop hiding behind the camera. Use it as a tool, not as a wall.
I like that, wall versus tool.
The wall keeps you at a distance from the rawness of life. The tool helps you engage more deeply when used with intention.
Could you give me a concrete exercise to practice this week?
Yes. Choose one event or moment each day. A meal, a sunset, a conversation. Decide beforehand that you will not take any photos or videos. Just be fully present. Notice the colors, the sounds, the feelings. Then later, write down 3 details you remember.
That's like training my memory.
Exactly. It strengthens your inner camera. You'll find that you remember more than you think.
What if I fail and reach for the phone?
Then notice that too. No guilt. Just observe the impulse and come back to the moment. It's practice, not perfection.
This is practical. But I'm still bothered by the bigger question. Why are we so afraid of letting moments go?
Because we have been taught that we are separate selves, and that loss diminishes us. But the truth is, nothing is ever lost, it transforms. The wave returns to the ocean.
That's a comforting thought, but it's hard to believe when someone dies or leaves.
The book addresses that. Even when a person dies, their actions, their love, their influence continue in other forms. They are not gone, just changed. Our fear of death is the root of our need to hold on.
So the phone is a little death denial machine.
That's a powerful way to put it. It's a way of saying, see, this moment existed, this person existed. But the proof is not in the pixels, it's in how they changed you.
That's deep. I might need to sit with that.
And that's okay. The teaching isn't to stop taking photos entirely. It's to become aware of the fear behind the urge, and to choose presence more often.
So the takeaway is, take the photo, but don't let the photo take you away from the moment.
Beautifully said. And remember, the best camera is the one that knows when to stay in your pocket.
That's a quotable line. I'll credit you on that one.
Don't credit me, credit the moment.
Ha! Okay, so to wrap up, what would you say to someone who feels anxious if they don't record everything?
I'd say, your anxiety is a signal. It's telling you that you're trying to hold on to something that is already moving. Instead of grasping, try opening your hand and letting it flow. The moment will pass, but it will also nourish you if you let it.
That's a lovely image. I want to try this out at my next gathering.
Start now. Put your phone in another room for the next hour and just be. Notice how it feels to be unreachable to the digital world and reachable to the present.
That's scary, but I'll try.
Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the willingness to feel the fear and still be present.
Thank you. This conversation has shifted something in me.
And that's the beginning of real seeing.